All right, so I have my gusset done now. What I've done so far, then you can see the cuff, the leg, the heel flap. Here is my heel turn, and then here is my gusset. Now you see the line along here that is created by the way we do the decreases, and you can see how the beginning of the foot is starting to shape. I recommend that you try this sock on several times during the course of this process so that you're comfortable wearing it and that you know it's going to fit. Now the next step here is to move the beginning of round again, because it's just easier to knit this if you have the top of the sock and the bottom of the sock on separate needles, and then when it's time to do the toe top, you're going to want it lined up that way anyway. What I'm going to do is I conveniently have my markers here, and that's going to basically be my top and my bottom. So I'm going to pull this marker out this way, and I'm going to pull this marker out this way. There we go. Let me get this yarn out of the way. And now I have the bottom and the top. And for me, I actually left, instead of going down to 33 stitches on each side, I have 34 on each side. And the only reason I did that is because it works nicely with my pattern in the front. You want to have the same number of stitches on the front and back needles if you can. There are ways of tweaking it if you can't, depending on your pattern. So at this point now I can take off my markers. I don't need any more markers. And now I'm just going to knit to the end of this needle. Okay, and here we go. Now you can very clearly see top of my sock and the bottom of my sock. And here is my marker for my row count, so that I know when I go to do the other sock. Let me get this in. There we go. So I know as I do the second sock, I want this to line up, and I'm just weaving my counting thread in and out every 5 rows. I didn't really need it for the heel because that's a set pattern that you're following, but I just was continuing the thread from down my heel flap, which I didn't have in the middle of my heel flap. I just stuck it somewhere. So then I just pulled it to the middle of my heel, and then I just kept it along the middle of the heel where that stitch marker was. All right, so now I'm going to knit until I'm ready to start the toe. This is where that hand measurement thing comes in place. Basically, you want to knit this the distance from the palm of your hand to the tip of your finger, and that would be starting, I should have shown you this before I moved it, starting with the heel flap. So you line your heel flap up with your palm up with the heel flap, and then that is about how long you want to make your sock. I'm saying about because you want to cut that 10% off. You do want this to be a little bit stretchy, lengthwise as well as widthwise, and you need to figure about 2 inches for the toe. Now, this going to the tip of my finger if I line that up with my toe, and I'll post a picture, I'll include a picture of this. You can see there's about 2 inches there, give or take. So I'm basically going to knit this until it's at about the bottom of my thumbnail here. And then that'll give me the bit of a stretch that I need so the sock will fit comfortably. All right, and I'm going to continue with my pattern on the top and just stockinette on the bottom, just because I find it more comfortable to have just stockinette on the bottom, but you don't have to do that. And there we are, off to